Welcome back to a new Cloud Escape devlog. This will be the last devlog before the game launch, which will be on the 13th of December. If you haven't already, please add Cloud Escape to your Steam wishlist. It would help me a lot to make my game more visible at launch. Thanks a lot. Let's see what has changed and what's new.
Animations.
I listened to your feedback and worked on the animations, and also added new ones. The jump animation is now more noticeable. Before, the falling animation had a too high weighting, and therefore the transition was executed too early. The falling animation is now correctly executed when running off a ledge, and also when being hit by a projectile. And I added a new animation for the double jump. Thanks guys for suggesting. The character now performs a flip while double jumping, creating a small shock wave. What do you think?
Increase difficulty.
I cranked up the difficulty on existing areas and also added more traps in some cases. The original goal was to develop a rage game. It's not meant to be unfair or a troll game, but based on the feedback from various playtesters, I've now made the areas more difficult. In the first area, there are now spikes on the platforms that kill you instantly if you touch them. Also, the fire towers now additionally spit fireballs in random directions. Where a fireball hits the ground, you see a shadow just before and have time to dodge. More blades have been added to the swinging blades section. In addition, the animations of all swinging blades are no longer synchronous, but all have a different delay. There are now more falling platforms. I felt that these objects appeared too rarely. The tilting rocks have also been adjusted. In this section, the character now slides from a certain angle of slope and falls into the abyss. The random prop splitter area has also been completely redesigned. On one hand, 20 instead of 10 props are now fired. And on the other hand, the platforming has been intensified. In this area, more circular saws were added. These now also have different movement patterns, such as rotation or even vertical movement. The pirate area hasn't changed much. However, the mechanics of the parrots were slightly changed. If you are near an exploding parrot, you will be launched across the level. You can use this mechanic for shortcuts and trick jumps. The wooden boxes now have a different animation pattern and there are more obstacles in this area. Also, there are now fewer boxes that stay up permanently. The algorithm of the ship's cannons was slightly adjusted. The ship now tries to guess the player's future position and occasionally aims at some distance in front of the player.
The Final Showdown.
Let's move on to the last part of the game. Once the player has overcome the wooden boxes, he arrives at this strange construction. The rotating thorn beams kill you on contact, and the cannons shoot relentlessly. Seems like there's no way up, but what are these green zones on the ground? Aha! By touching the green zones, the entire platform moves upwards piece by piece. Until we finally get on the roof of the house and can move on. This area is filled with explosives. You also have to watch where you jump. Because the sharks are hungry. Well, what kind of switch is that? I don't want to spoil all the surprises for you. All we have to do is cross these rotating skull pillars. And we are almost at the top. We climb the castle wall. And what do we see here? This seems to be the end of the level.
The end.
I had already thought about the ending in the last devlog. I've experimented a lot and have already implemented all the ending scenes now. When you enter this gate, you have reached the finish line. In hard mode you can see that the gate is locked and you have to collect all coins to unlock it. I decided against showing the entire ending, because I don't want to spoil everything. My game doesn't offer a real story, that should be clear so far. But I can say that I came up with a nice plot twist for the last scene.
Sound effects and music.
I've now added sound effects and music to the entire game. There are a total of 6 songs that come from the purchased asset pack and 71 sound effects. Here is a short demo. You can change the game tracks with the 4 shoulder keys or with the keys 1 to 4. I've added a small UI display to give the player a short feedback about the song change. I've created my own sound script for playing audio sources. This script has a feature to randomize audio sources for the same events, and to randomize the pitch of these sources in a certain range. I really tried to make the environment as vivid as possible, with ambient sound effects. In addition, most sound sources are spatially. Of course, parrots have kept their sound.
User interface.
There are some new features in the main menu. You can now see the unlock conditions of each character. Settings are now functional, can be loaded and saved. And the game has now been fully translated into the following languages. There were some problems with using Cyrillic characters in combination with my chosen fonts. I will upload a separate video on this issue. The game now has a pause menu. When paused, the timer also stops. Here you can also find the most relevant settings, like camera sensitivity, sound FX volume and music volume. Each UI element can be accessed with mouse and keyboard as well as with gamepad.
Steam API.
I've fully integrated the Steam API into Cloud Escape. I implemented both achievements and stats. There are a total of 14 achievements that you can already see on Steam. There will be stats on the following topics: total death count, started games on normal and hard mode, total coins collected, total clear count of normal and hard mode. I'm looking forward to see which of you will actually unlock all achievements.
The rocket.
In pretty much all areas I've mainly used pre-made props from asset packs. However, there will be a very action-packed event in the game, which required a model of a rocket. So I fired up Blender and modeled a rocket and added it to the game. What's the purpose of the rocket in the game, you may ask? All I can say is this: it will be by far the most powerful explosion in the entire game.
Release date and price.
Now let's go on to some important information about the release of Cloud Escape. Cloud Escape will be released on Steam for Windows on the 13th of December. I've not yet made a final decision about the release on other platforms. The main goal is to ensure the smoothest possible launch on Windows as a target platform. I have thought about the price of the game and will offer Cloud Escape for $4.99. At launch, if all goes according to plan, there will be a launch discount of 15%. I know that the price of a game is often highly debated. I've given it some thought and will be creating a dedicated video on price and cost of the game in the near future. 13th of December is approaching, and this was the last devlog before launch. If you'd like to support the launch of Cloud Escape, please give me a brief moment of your time and add it to your wishlist. Each wishlist entry increases the chance of having a good launch a little bit. Thank you so much for your great support and all the kind words and suggestions. I will post more videos before launch and hope you still enjoy the content. If so, please consider subscribing and liking the video. Thanks guys, and see you soon.